Fala galera, meu nome é Bruno, esse aqui é o Porquê Metal, e daqui a pouco eu vou soltar a entrevista aí pra vocês que eu fiz com o Eric Jarrin. O Eric Jarrin é o guitarrista da banda canadense de Spiced Icon, uma das bandas precursoras, uma das bandas pioneiras no gênero deathcore, e que está lançando no dia 31 de outubro, amanhã ou hoje, depende de quando você está assistindo esse vídeo, o seu sexto disco de inéditas, o Shadow Work. O Despised Icon tem um deathcore diferente do que talvez a gente esteja acostumado na atualidade, já que eles fazem um deathcore que é muito mais pesado, muito mais violento, talvez mais death metal em vários momentos do que deathcore, o que aliás é uma constante da banda. E o Shadow Work mostra isso. O Shadow Work é um disco que você reconhece a essência da banda. Se você curte a discografia deles, ou se você resolver de repente voltar a escutar a banda desde o seu primeiro trabalho, The Healing Process, você vai ver que eles mantêm uma coesão muito grande nos trabalhos deles. Mas isso não quer dizer que o Shadow Work ou algum outro disco da banda, como Purgatory, que foi o último, sejam trabalhos pouco inspirados, muito pelo contrário. O Shadow Work é um disco que moderniza ainda mais o som da banda, trazendo o Despised Icon para 2025, mas sempre mantendo aquela essência do começo da carreira. E eu gostei muito do Shadow Work, eu pude escutar ele para fazer entrevista com Eric Jarrin. Esse é um dos discos mais pesados que eu escutei no ano. Desde os primeiros segundos ele é extremamente fulminante. É um disco que eu gostei muito também porque ele tem uma atmosfera geral bastante obscura, bastante soturna, trazendo também letras que são pesadas, mas pesadas no sentido de autorreflexivas e trazendo vários questionamentos. Eu gostei muito também do trampo de guitarra solos do disco, que como de costume para a banda estão sempre fazendo alguma coisa diferente, alguma coisa interessante, trazendo aí linhas criativas e diferentes, e nesse trabalho inclusive experimentando com diferentes afinações. O trampo de batera assim é violentíssimo, super acelerado, caprichando em blast beats e se destaca muito, junto até com as guitarras bases que são bastante groovadonas, junto com o baixo também, que é bastante presente ao longo de todo o disco. Uma das coisas mais legais também ao longo de toda a carreira da banda e que também se destaca no Shadow Work é a presença dos dois vocalistas do grupo, já que a banda sempre teve ao longo da sua existência dois vocalistas, o Alex Serian, que fica responsável pelos vocais mais rasgados, para os vocais que pegam mais aquela linha do hardcore, e também pelo Steve Marois, que fica responsável aí pelos guturais, pelos pig squeals que rolam bastante, e para aqueles vocais mais extremos, mais death metal do trabalho da banda. E falando desses dois vocalistas, as dinâmicas entre eles são sempre muito interessantes, muito bem feitas. Eu gostei muito da produção no disco também, principalmente depois de conversar com o Eric. O Shadow Work levou 6 anos para ficar pronto e isso deu a oportunidade para eles fazerem uma produção mais caprichada, mais cirúrgica assim, colocando todos os pequenos detalhes que eles queriam, trazendo artistas para colaborar. Esse é um disco cheio de convidados especiais. E como eu disse, depois de escutar o que o Eric falou, eu voltei a escutar o disco e comecei a pegar cada vez mais coisas, cada vez mais detalhes e perceber o quanto eles capricharam mesmo na produção. E esse capricho deles na produção se mostra até nos videoclipes que eles trouxeram. Eu já vou trazer aí a entrevista, mas só para fechar, eu achei os 3 clipes que eles fizeram para esse disco sensacionais. Os clipes são verdadeiras obras de arte, obras cinematográficas. Eles gravaram um clipe para Over My Dead Body, música aí que tem o Matthew Honeycutt do Kublai Khan participando. Gravaram também para Death of an Artist e gravaram também um videoclipe para The Apparition, que é uma das minhas músicas preferidas do disco, que foi tema da nossa conversa na entrevista. Inclusive o clipe nem tinha saído ainda e ele achou legal de eu ter mencionado, mas é uma música assim super obscura, uma verdadeira trilha sonora para filme de terror. E, como eu disse, esses clipes mostram como a produção deles foi muito bem feita, já que são clipes aí que trazem cenas interessantes, cenários construídos assim à mão e até efeitos práticos, inclusive tocando um cara em fogo na música Death of an Artist. Tudo isso mostra como a banda tem um carinho e um cuidado com todo o material que eles lançam, como toda banda deve fazer. Mas aqui eles acertaram muito a mão. Vale muito a pena então você conferir o Shadow Work e vale você ficar aqui pro vídeo para assistir a entrevista com o Eric Jarrin. Bora lá. So hello Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How about you?
Doing good as well. Was not going to be my first question, but what a great guitar wall behind you and drooling all over your guitars. They're beautiful.
Yeah. These are the guitars I use here in my little home studio. That's where I'm talking you from. So, and these are the guitars I use to track, compose, and record Despise Icon music.
Is there any one of those that are like a favorite or a go-to to practice or writing?
It depends on the tuning, but that Explorer right there, this is it's been my main axe for Despised Icon for the past 10 years. I really love it. But yeah, that Les Paul right here is tuned to E standard 440 tuning. So whenever I feel like, just playing some good old rock and roll or hard rock stuff, or metal, old 90 metal from the 90s or the 80s, I will use that one.
So, Despised Icon is releasing Shadow Work on Hallows Eve, and I had a chance to hear it yesterday. It kicks ass. It's very dark, very haunting, and it's modern and keeps the essence of the band. So, congratulations on it.
Thank you.
And it's been 6 years since Purgatory, the last album before Shadow Work, and we lived all through a pandemic in between. The band also celebrated its 20th anniversary. So can you tell me if, and maybe how, this very unusual stretch of time between albums reflected or affected or influenced the crafting of Shadow Work from a music or lyrical standpoint?
Yeah, well, you're right about the fact that it took a couple of years in between albums. One major impact was the pandemic. I think we probably lost, I don't know, over a year, if not close to 2 years, because up here in Canada, the government imposed some very strict lockdowns, and we even had like curfews. So we haven't been able to see each other and work on music as a band for at least a year and a half. So even though I was at home, I could write some of the stuff, but that's not the way we operate in the band. We always like work in little groups of 2 or 3. It's either me and the drummer or me and the singer. So yeah, we lost quite some time around that. And then once we started to write the music, we really wanted to take our time for this one. We didn't want to rush things. We had a few tours happening as well back. I think the first tour we did back was in end of 2022. So yeah, we just didn't feel the need to rush things. All those bands that didn't release albums during the pandemic, they all released their stuff in 2023, 2024. So there were so many album releases at that time. We said, you know what, we're just going to wait a bit more. And, as a legacy, I consider Despised Icon a legacy band. We've been around for almost 25 years now. So I don't think it makes such a big, it's such a big deal if we wait 4 or 5 years before releasing an album. I guess fans will be there when it's going to come out, and it's not going to make such a difference. And it will just allow us the time to really put the final touches and work on the details we want to. And I think it shows on the album. I mean, I think it's one of our most produced album that we released in our whole discography.
And as you said, Despised Icon is like an icon bands. But you guys are together for over 25 years, mostly as a solid formation. And even though you guys had a break for a little while, all this time together must add a lot to the chemistry of working together. So do you think it felt any different from working on this album from when it was from the Healing Process?
Yeah, well, I don't think the way we approach music or work on music has changed that much, because you're right. We've been pretty much the same lineup for all those years, and even though the only member that's not original is the guitar player, Yannick. He's still around. He's doing our sound live every show, every tour, and he records all of our albums, and he recorded Shadow Work. So he's still a big part of the family. and he has a lot of input in the creative process. So that didn't really change much. It's more, I think, the way we the time we took and the experimentations we allowed ourselves to do on this one. For instance, we have this Australian artist. She's called Mystique. She plays keyboards and she does orchestral arrangements on many other albums for other bands. So on one of our songs, it felt right to experiment with that. We approached her. She said yes, and she worked on the song, and I think the result came out really nice. We also have guest vocalists that have participated on the album. Tom from Chelsea Grin, Scott from Carnifex, Matt from Kublai Khan. These are good friends of ours. We have a history with these guys. We toured with their bands in the last 10 years. So yeah, I think it's just the way we tried to push the boundaries a little bit. It's to me, the album is the logical evolution from Beast and Purgatory, but I think we tried to play a bit more with the extremes, it's the first album we changed the guitar tuning for some songs. I think half of the songs on the album are tuned in drop A, whether all the previous albums have always been tuned in B standard. For all the guitar nerds out there, so that influenced the way I wrote some of the songs and some of the riffs. Experimenting with the drop tuning. I've never played drop tuning before, so yeah, I think we didn't really change the way we interact between the band members when writing music, but we just allowed ourselves to experiment a bit more.
And speaking on not only the artwork, which is amazing, but you guys released 2 video clips which shows like practical effects. You set stands on fire, and there's also in the other video clip a little house where you guys are playing together. How is the band's involvement in those kinds of material? Not only the artwork, but the video clips.
It's mostly Alex Arian, the singer, and I who usually will discuss and come up with concepts. And for the first video for Over My Dead Body, we've seen a lot of videos in the past year or the past 2 years where it's all like dark and gloomy and with flickering images, strobes and shadows, and it's with a lot of blood, and it's hard to see the band members. So we asked the director of the video to go in the opposite direction. He said, we'd like a video that's colorful, with a lot of lights, and then like long shots of us playing, that almost feels like uneasy a little bit, and then we discuss concepts like the Wizard of Oz or the movie Beau is Afraid. So that's how we came about with the concept for this video. And then he said, yeah, why not try to like have a concept where it's a little small house and you guys are inside the miniature house, and there's a tornado, and then have like practical effects like that. And for the second video, it's a friend of ours, Jesse. He did 4 of our previous videos, and for this song, which is called Death of an Artist, we wanted to illustrate the concept of the killing of the artist, or the death of the artist, which is a song about, because we're not a full-time band anymore, full-time touring band, and so it was just a concept of killing our older selves and setting it on fire, and through that just to showcase like the musicianship of the band and have like shots of the drummer and the guitar players and the bass players playing the more technical riffs, which is a more like a technical song. So yeah, that's how we came up with the ideas.
And in 2025, it's very usual for us to see bands, even big bands, using AI to do video clips and artwork. So what's your intake as an artist with over 25 years of experience on this new paradigm shift for bands?
Oh, you mean you want like my opinion about the fact that some artists or bands are using AI in their music or their artwork, or?
Yes. What's your take on it?
Honestly, I'm not sure what to think about it, because it's kind of new, but that's not how we operate. I mean, all of our graphics, whether it's for merchandise or the artwork or anything on our websites, it's all been done by friends and people we know and we've worked with for many years, you know. And as far as music, I know there are some softwares out there that can like create the full song in about 2 minutes. You type some commands and stuff, but from what I've heard so far, it's not quite good enough. So I mean, we're old dudes, we're old guys, we're old school. So yeah, I think we'll just stick to our guns and keep like doing everything by ourselves and hire people to do stuff. And you know, I don't think anything will ever replace the human touch on things. You know, at the same time, I think there are great tools coming out of artificial intelligence. You know, it's so as long as it stays and it's being used as tools and not things to replace or recreate other stuff, I'm fine with it, you know.
And speaking of old school, you guys are pioneers, one of the bands that are pioneers of the deathcore. And since then, the genre has developed. It has generated some subgenres. There is like blackened deathcore and symphonic deathcore. So how do you feel about the evolution of the genre, and also how do you feel being a part of its inception?
Well, yeah, like I said before, we've been in the game for almost 25 years now, and even when we started out, we didn't even know we were part of a genre that was going to be something, you know. We were just writing music with death metal and hardcore elements mixed together, and so it's crazy to see what it became after all those years, and all those subgenres you mentioned, like blackened deathcore or symphonic deathcore, and some of the bands out there are thriving. They're doing great. We just 2 weeks ago we played this festival in Northeast United States. You know, Lorna Shore was headlining the festival, and they are huge now. Like they had like this huge production set, and I think they're doing really, really good, and I'm super happy for them, you know. But they don't sound nothing like Despised Icon, you know. It's a completely other type of deathcore, like that I don't know about. Like I wouldn't be able to write the music they do with all the arrangements they have and all that stuff, you know. So, but you know, I think it's just great that like if somehow we've contributed to influence bands and have bands take it to another level, that's all fine by me, and it's awesome, you know.
And you guys are 1 month away from a big tour in the US. So how are the rehearsals going? And is there any song in particular from the new album you want to play live?
Yeah, well, you know, like I've said before, we are not a full-time touring band, so we play a handful of shows, maybe 25 to 30 shows a year at the most. And now that it's that time of the year for us to go out on the road and get to play a show almost every day for a whole month, it's really, really exciting. We had the chance to play 2 shows in the past weeks, one here in northern Quebec and the other one in Massachusetts for the New England Metal and Hardcore Festival. Those were great. We also had the chance to play one new song during those shows, and we are looking forward to play some newer material on the upcoming tour. At least at least 2 to 3 new songs are going to be part of the set list. We've been rehearsing them. It's going great. And we know and we understand at the same time that some of the fans want to hear the classics or the older material. So I think it'll be just a good mix and match of old and new material.
Awesome. And you mentioned movie influences on the latest video clips. And I thought the apparition song from the album is very haunting, it's very horror-like. Is there any influence from movies or horror stories or any other kind of media on the songwriting?
Yeah, well, it's funny you're mentioning this song because 5 days ago we just shot a new video for this song. It's gonna come out October 17th. It's gonna be the third single on the before the album release. We're gonna have a video about this song, and yeah, this is a very personal song in terms of lyrics for Alex and Steve, because it tells a bit the story between the two of them as co-singers, and sometimes the hardship that comes with that. And musically, I pretty much wrote the whole song by myself during the pandemic, which were a bit dark times. So I guess that's why it's a little bit dark as a song, or dark sounding and haunting. And it's funny because it's very melodic as well, like the intro and the riffs. And at that time, I don't know how I got into that, but I started to listen to a bit more black metal, bands like Dark Funeral. So I'm sure you can hear the influences of black metal in the intro of the songs and the melodic part of the songs. Yeah, and I was watching a lot of horror movies at that time too. You're in a lockdown, you're staying at home, you don't have much to do. So yeah, I just remember like going through all these horror flicks. The yeah. So so maybe that's why it all comes down, and you can feel all of that in crammed up in one song.
And speaking of yourself personally, what got you wanting to be a guitar player, and what band maybe got you into death metal and a part of Despised Icons?
Yeah, that's an easy one. I was about 11 years old, 12 years old. And I saw the one video for Metallica on Much Music on TV, and yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was like, "Holy shit, what is that?" This is great. This is good music. It was powerful, so that instantly gave me the urges to pick up a guitar and learn to play guitar. So yeah, Metallica and James Hetfield are probably the biggest reason why I started to play guitar, and that's why I have an Explorer, and this is my tribute and homage to James Hetfield and Metallica, and then from there, Metallica became the gateway for heavier stuff like Slayer, Pantera, Sepultura, and then Sepultura got me into like death metal bands like Obituary, Death, Morbid Angel, and then Suffocation. And to this day, Suffocation is probably my favorite and biggest death metal influence of all time.
You mentioned that Despised Icons not a full touring band. How was that like as a group to make this decision? What's involved in this decision, and how do you guys came up with this arrangement for the band?
Well, as you may know, we have disbanded in 2010. You know, after 4 albums, we decided to pull the plug on the band. Some of us started to have families, kids, careers back home, so we ended the band in 2010. And then offers for reunion shows and reunion tours came in late 2014, early 2015. So we just started to do reunion shows back then, and you know, it felt just good to be back together and play music. And then we said, okay, you know, if we are going to get back together, what is important for us? You know, we ask ourselves a question, and I think one of the most important things was to uh, keep the original lineup, all the original members of the band. You know, we didn't want to be like a lot of bands that go on tour and they have like fill-in drummers, fill-in guitar players, and you know, it was important to us to stay together and be all the original members. Plus, we all live in the same city. You know, a lot of bands, American bands, they are scattered all over the country and they just like reunite before a tour to rehearse in one room. But we all live maybe 20 or 40 minutes apart from each other. So even though we're not touring full time, we always meet up on Wednesday night and be all the band members together and play music just like a local band would do, and just like we did when we started out 25 years ago, you know. So that was the most important thing to us, to just be together, spend time together, and enjoy and have fun. And what was the most that we could all free up and time we could give up for the band? Is it 1 month a year? Okay, so we'll just do one tour a year and plan according to that, you know. And that's how we've been rolling for the past 10 years, you know.
And you guys never came to Brazil to play a concert. Correct me if I'm wrong, but never happens. And was there any offer so far? Is there any desire from the bands to come to South America to play a concert?
We for some reason we didn't get that much offers, and whenever we had offers, it never you know, it never fell through, and I think it's just a matter of bad timing, I guess. But I mean, I'd love to go to South America. You know, the most southern we've played was Mexico, and that's still in North America, so it doesn't count. But yeah, I know we have lots of fans in Chile, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia. It'd be nice to go down there. I guess we just need to find the right timing and the right promoters to set up like a proper tour of South America. But yeah, we unfortunately, we've never played there, and hopefully, we will sooner than later.
That's great. I have one final question, which is kind of a three-parter. We have an official playlist for the YouTube channel in which our guests recommend songs. So if you can you recommend three songs, being like one from the Despised Icon, one from your memory, like a song that you love ever since you remember and will forever be listening to, and one that you came across recently that you are keeping it on your playlists, on your rotation?
Yeah, well, as far as Despised Icon, I would probably, I'd probably say the last single we've released, "Death of an Artist." Yeah, that's a song that I'm proud of, and I would love for the fans to, or the people that don't know Despised Icon, to discover. Um, and a newer song or a newer band, that I could recommend is the slam band Peeling Flesh. I really, really like that band. I saw them. We played with them in Massachusetts 2 weeks ago, and they had a killer set. They have an album that came out last year in 2024 that's called the G Code. And I think, the title track, The G Code, would be a nice track. And it happens that both our singers, Steve and Alex, are featured on that song as guest vocalists. So maybe I'm not partial to it, but yeah. And something that I've been listening forever, and I keep jamming from time to time, it is probably any song of Chaos AD from Sepultura. I mean, that's a huge influence for me. I've always liked that album. I'm old and lucky enough to have been to the concert for the album in 1994 here in Montreal, where I live. So this has a special place in my heart. So maybe the song Territory would be a treat for anyone.
That's great. Eric, I would like to give you the floor to speak to the audience, to your Brazilian fans, to send a message and to speak about the new album.
Well, thank you for, we never took anything for granted, and we are very, very grateful as a band, myself and I can speak for the others in Despised Icon. Really, really, really grateful for all the love and support from our Brazilian fans. And once again, I'm sorry we haven't come down to visit you guys, but all in all, very, very happy that after all these years, after 25 years, fans are still supporting us, supporting the music, very loyal fans too. So very, very grateful and happy, and thank you very much.